I have been so blah. Like when I say I have been blah, I have been so blah all day today. I don't know if it's the weather, because in Philly it's like super gloomy. It's overcast. It's been rainy. I've just kind of felt a little down. There's all this stuff going on politically. There's all this stuff just going on in the world. There's COVID still happening, and it scares me. And it makes me kind of sad and upset and worried. All this political news is on. Honestly, I've been kind of like sad and a little depressed about all of it. Election time is coming up. It's just such a scary time. Everything in the world just feels like it's happening right now. And then COVID, right? COVID. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. And I was like, well, maybe I'm just not going to do a live. I'm not going to do a live tonight. I said, Jen, you're always telling people to take care of themselves and self-care and this and that. And why don't you just skip doing a live tonight? And I was going to. Until I was scrolling, and by the way, this is the topic of today's live. I was scrolling on social media looking for a topic for this video. And I was scrolling, and just looking up, okay, what's the latest with COVID news? And as I was scrolling, I happened to run across Trevor Noah. Now, you see me smiling like this because I just think he is a doll. Oh my gosh, I think Trevor Noah is a doll. And I think he's so smart. Like, he's like smart, like, you know, that kind of clever, witty, like brilliant, smart. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And I was like, oh, Trevor Noah. I heard he has a girlfriend, which I'm happy for him, happy for her. Sad for me. But anyway, I digress. So I was scrolling, and I saw one of his videos, because, you know, he does videos, and he's got like his classic hoodies on, you know, he wears these hoodies, and he's like straight to camera, and I love his style. And his guest was none other than Chris Rock, who I think Chris Rock is one of the funniest comedians out there. I think Chris Rock is a genius. I think he's a genius. Anyway, so Trevor Noah was interviewing Chris Rock, and this is what Chris Rock said that like literally made me say, you know what, Jen? No, you are doing a video today. You're not going to punk out. You're not going to sit this one out. You're not going to sit on the sidelines and just phone it in tonight. No, you're going to do a video like you do on Monday nights. And this is what you're going to do it about, because you know what he said? He said, he really sort of takes care of his mental health. You know, that was sort of the topic. And Trevor Noah said, well, like, how much do you take care of your mental health? It was something like this. Like, these aren't the exact words. But Trevor Noah was like, well, so what do you do? Like, you know, what do you do? What's your style? What do you do? And Chris Rock was like, well, he's like, you know, I do therapy and I do this and I do that. And Trevor Noah kind of made a little joke. He's like, well, what do you mean? Like, you're doing like 9 hours a day of like therapy or whatever? And Chris Rock goes, well, no. He's like, but I do 7 hours a week. I was like, what? So immediately, like, I ain't scrolling no more. I'm like literally like, like looking in to see like, okay, what else? Like, huh? Tell me about this, right? So he does 7 hours of therapy per week. And Trevor Noah kind of like chuckled or whatever. And Chris Rock was like very serious. He's like, no, he's like, I see 2 shrinks. He used the word shrink. So I'm assuming maybe he meant psychiatrist. He said, I do, he has a learning specialist and he does a group. Now, in the clip that I saw, he didn't elaborate into like what that meant, those things. And I only just saw this like 1 or 2 minute clip. If you Google it, like Trevor Noah, Chris Rock therapy or whatever. And then, so Trevor Noah was like, really, man? Like, wow. And Chris Rock was basically like, he's like, yeah. He's like, 7 hours kind of is not that much. He goes, think about like, you know, The Rock or any of these other like bodybuilder guys. He's like, they probably spend, you know, 7 hours a week for them training is nothing. Think about the time that people put into their bodies that are bodybuilders. They work out, they're fitness buffs and things like that. 7 hours a week is probably nothing. He's like, if people can spend 7 hours or 7 hours plus on their bodies, he's like, I can spend that much on my mind. And I was like, what? Mind blown. Pachoo. Like, mind freaking completely blown, right? Like, is that not profound? And then he goes on to say, he goes, yeah, again, 2 shrinks. I don't use the word shrink myself, but this is the word he used. So I want to use the language he uses. I think he was talking about psychiatrists. He said a learning specialist, and he goes to some group and he said, you know, what he said was, I have the resources and I realized there are these things, these patterns I wanted to change. And he said, so why not? And like, honestly, guys, this was like, my hot chocolate is still very warm. I always make it too hot. So I have to wait for it to cool off. I probably should just not make it so hot. Then I wouldn't have to wait for it to cool off. Oh, I need more chocolate. So anyway, so he was like, yeah. He's like, if these people can spend this much time and energy on their bodies, like I can certainly spend it on my mind. I was like, literally, like, it changed my world. And I was like, that is what I'm talking about in my video today. I'm going to talk about the importance of us investing in our mental health and our whole well-being. And honestly, when I heard that video between Trevor Noah and Chris Rock, and by the way, you guys should Google it, it kind of energized me. It made me feel inspired. It made me feel motivated. It made me not feel alone. I don't do 7 hours of therapy work a week, but it made me feel alone in that, you know, I'm not the only one that may have bad days, which I know intuitively, but don't just sometimes feel like you need to hear this. So by the way, if you need to hear this, trust me, you're not alone if you have bad days. If today was a crappy day for you, you know what? You're not alone. It was a little bit of a crappy day for me too. If you're feeling a little bit lost in the world right now, like what's going to happen to us and what's going to happen and COVID this and COVID schmovid and all this stuff, you know what? You're not alone with that too. So I'm here to tell you that because sometimes I feel like I wish somebody would tell me, hey, you know what? It's all good. And Chris Rock honestly did that today. Hearing him talk about his therapy experiences and that he invests in his mental health 7 hours a week really reminded me that we need to take care of ourselves too. And we're not the only ones that may be struggling with whatever's happening. Bad day, tough relationship, worried about COVID illness, whatever the case is going on. So I wanted to share that anecdote from Chris Rock. Thank you, Chris Rock. I don't know you, but thank you. And to Trevor Noah, who is my boyfriend in my mind. He doesn't know me, but in my mind, he's my boyfriend. Even though he has a girlfriend, I'm really happy for you. Yeah, I am. But thank you for that. So let it be a lesson to all of us, okay, to make sure that we're prioritizing our mind just like we prioritize our body. I think that's super, super important because mental health is so important. So I say this to say, and I'm piggybacking off of Chris Rock, as he said, if we can spend hours on our body, exercising, trying to eat right, working out, etc., we can spend hours on our mind too. So guys, I hope that is, you know, really, really helpful. I was inspired when I heard Chris Rock say that. It actually was, it's actually reassuring in a way. And I really appreciated his honesty because I think a lot of people don't actually, or they're not willing to talk about mental health and just sort of staying balanced in this day and age. The world is a little bit different than it has been in the past, but we are going to get through this with flying colors, okay? So hang in there, everybody. Just remember, I love you. You are loved. Please wear your masks. Encourage your family and friends to wear their masks, social distance, wash your hands, do all that good stuff. Guys, I love you very much. I will see you soon. Take care of this as well as this. I'm pointing to my belly, your body. Guys, I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye.